Welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to discuss this Tiger Analytics Python interview question. So this was asked in a recent interview for a data engineer role. So let me show you the problem. So if you see here, like this person got this problem in his interview. So the problem is this: leveraged Python to flatten nested list recursively. So this is problem number one, and we have another problem: concatenate list with numeric ranges using list comprehension. Right. So let's discuss the first problem. So this is the problem basically. Write a Python code to flatten a nested list without using inbuilt function, and basically this we need to do recursively. So like I think you know the problem basically. So this is very common problem where we flatten list, right? So let's take an example. So let's say if I have a list like this: 2, 3, 10, 20, 40, and let's say I have here 5. So this is the list basically. So the flattened list would be what? So let me write the out. This is the input basically, input. And in order to write the output, what would be the output? So the output would be 2, right? Then 3, and then this list would get flattened. So basically this would be like this: 10, 20, 40, and we will have 5, right? So this is the one level of nesting, right? So what if we have the list like this: 2, 3, 10, 20, and then again we have the list over here: 100, 200, and then let's say we have 2, again 5, and then after this, so this is getting closed over here, and then we have 50, right? We have the list like this. So how the output of this would look like is, so we will have 2, 3, and then again we have the list opening, and then there if we have 20, 10, 20, 100, 200, and then 2, 5, and 50, right? So how we are achieving this output from the given input? So let's try to understand. So how exactly we are writing? We are iterating. Let me write over here. We are iterating each element, right? And we are checking if the element is int or not, if it is a int or not. So if it is a int, let's say if I have to write the output from this given input, so how I will iterate through it? So I will see 2, so it is a int, I will write straight away. This is 3, it is a int, right? I will write as it is. Here I will see it is a list. Then what am I doing? I'm going inside this list, right? So if it is not a list, then we are again going inside the list. So what exactly is happening? This is the bigger problem, right? Inside the bigger problem, we have a smaller problem, right? So in such scenario, what exactly we use? We use recursion, right? We use recursion. So here we have the bigger problem, and in that we have a smaller problem. So in order to solve the bigger problem, what exactly we will have to do? So to solve the bigger problem, we will have to solve the smaller problem, right? And that's where the recursion come into the picture. So let's see. So basically what we will do, we will use the recursion, we will pass this list, and we will iterate through each and an element and check if the particular element is a list or it is an integer. If it is an integer, we will straight away put that particular value in the output array, and if it is not a integer, then what we will do, we will again pass that sub problem to the recursive function to solve it again, right? So let's see. So here basically what we will do, again this is a sub problem. This is the sub problem in the bigger problem. Then again this list would be passed to the recursive function, and again it will check, hey, the 10 is basically an integer. We will write as it is, 20 as it is, 40 as it is. We are out of this loop. out of this list, right? And then again we will check if 5 is a list or integer. So it is an integer, we will write it straight away. So this is how we are getting this output. The same logic basically is applied to the nested, like whatever the depth of the that particular list is, the same logic would be applied, right? So let me write the code basically. So whatever I'm saying in the words, the same things would be there in the code also. So let me write. So for the recursion, what we will have, let me write the first uh, list basically. So let me write 10, 20, 30, and 100, 200, and then let's say here we have 50, 60, right? Okay, let's see. Let's consider this as example, and here we can have 140, right? So what would be the output of this? So let me write over here. We will do the dry run on this. Okay, so instead of writing me now, I will write the code and iterate it through to have the better understanding basically. So how the code would look like? So we will have the function basically def. Let's say we name this as flatten list, right? So this will get what? This will get this list. So let's say we say that element, right? And here let's write the pass. Basically, we are not defining the function or definition. So let's say if in order to call this, so what I will write, I will write flatten list, and I will pass this list basically, right? So this list would come over here. Okay. So let's write the definition of this. So what I will write. So what we were doing, we were saying if this element is a list or is of type int. So we'll check, we'll use is instance, right? So we'll write is instance. Okay, I made a mistake. Mm, Is instance. This element will check if it is a list or not. So if it is a list, we will do something. Else, if it is not a list, then what we will do? We will straight away add this in the output array. So let's define this output array over here, right? And we'll write over here output dot append this element, basically whatever we have received over here. So element, right? So if this is not a list, if if this is not a list, then we are executing this piece of code. And if it is a list, then we have to do something. So I hope you must have guessed this, what exactly the code would look like over here. So the code would be, we will again call this function. So if it is a list, then we will have a list of element, right? So to iterate a list of element, we'll have to use a for loop. So we'll write over here for e in element, and we'll call this function flatten list. So basically we'll write flatten list, and we'll pass this e over here, right? So this is the code basically, right? So let's iterate it through this example which we have over here, and let me change the color. Okay, so okay, and let me remove this. Okay, so this L will be passed over here, the first element 10. So 10 will come. Is it this list? No, it is not a list. Then we'll come over here. It is a If it is not a list, then we will straight away append this in the output. So output will have 10. Similarly for 20. Similarly for 30. So when this element comes, what will happen? So this is a list, yes. Then we'll come to this for loop. Then again, will the code will run for this 100. So 100 over here, like in the element, we will have this array, and then we will have 100 over here. So the flatten list will be called for 100. So 100 would go over here, right? So 100 will come over here. Then again we will check if it is a list or not. So it is not a list, right? So we'll append this value to over here. So 100 would come over here, then 200, and then again this value would be there, right? So again the same thing, same process will repeat, and we will have 50, 60, and 140, right? So I hope you understood basically this piece of code, and this is the solution basically for this problem. So let's discuss the second problem. So the second problem was to concatenate the list basically, right? Concatenate the list. So basically this problem was not clear from the thing which we saw over here. Let me show you. So if you read this, concatenate list with numeric range using the list comprehension. So I didn't understand this properly. Basically, the information is incomplete. Then I talked to this person. So he told me that the problem is like this. We have been given this two list, and what exactly we need to do is we like the interviewer wanted to know if this particular person knows the uh, zip keyword or not. So basically, what he wanted is, let's say we have a element like this 1 2 3, and the second list we have is 20 30 40, right? And then what we need to do, we need to use the zip. So what exactly zip does is it combines both the array values and create a tuple of it, right? So if we do like this, so we will have to write like L1, L2. So this returns a zip, right? Zip object. So once we are done with this, we need to convert this into the list. So we'll write like this, zip L1, L2. So this is the output basically of the second question. So let me execute this over here. I will not write again this piece of code on the console, and so it will take time. So you can copy paste the same code on your console and check, right? So let me write over here. Let me copy this thing. So if I write this, then what we need to do, we need to write zip list 1 comma list 2. So if I write this, then let's see what we are getting. We are getting zip object, right? Zip at this location, right? The object location. Then what we need to do, we need to convert this to the list to see the object, like the values which are there at this particular location. So if you see, we are getting the pair like this. So yes, if you understood this Tiger Analytics interview question, then please do like, subscribe, and share the channel. And if you're new to this channel, you can check out our other playlist. Basically, we have a lot of interview related content on SQL, PySpark, Python, and then we have DSA, right? And then I have started with the oops concept also, and then we have like exception handling. I have discussed the things in these two, something which is I didn't found in any of the YouTube videos, right? I explained my learning over here. So do check out all these videos, right? So let's meet in the next problem. Until then, bye.